Now, before I get to my number 4 game, you notice I'm sporting my Texas Tech T-shirt for this. They got bumped out of this by this game that I picked here. Okay, I mean, I really like what Texas Tech did, in their opening game. But my number 4 game is number 20 Alabama against Longwood, and I had to actually, admittedly, look up where Longwood was from. I really wasn't that familiar with the program. But it wasn't the margin of victory. It was 20 plus points for that. It was that the way that the players responded to what Nate Oates has been asking them and pleading with them to do in practice and talking about in national media interviews. They have bought into his system all the way. Alabama has always had great recruiting classes and a lot of talent. Avery Johnson didn't get Alabama over the hump. Okay, and this is an NBA, star, great college player in his own right. He couldn't get the Crimson Tide over the hump. Nate Oates, I think, is going to get it done. He's bringing in his kind of players. If those players don't want to buy into a system, they're not going to play, or they can transfer out if they'd like. Oates doesn't really care. He wants what's best for the Alabama Crimson Tide basketball team. And that just jumped off the TV screen as I was watching this game. Freshman Brandon Miller was everything the scouting report said that he would be. And I found myself just smiling a little. I mean, I'm not an Alabama fan. I'm not even really an SEC fan. But watching him play, wow. He is going to open a lot of eyes on a lot of benches in the SEC. He had 14 points, 13 rebounds, played 30 minutes. So that's a great debut. They had 4 players in double digits in scoring. Mark Sears did a great job at the point, distributing, slowing things down if things seem to be getting a little bit out of control. And their center, Charles Bediako, man, he's better than I thought. I mean, you read about him, and I've seen him play here and there, but having watched him in this game, he is chaos in the paint. He really is. If he finds a consistent scoring touch, Alabama suddenly has to be jumping up in people's rankings of SEC teams, and the SEC is just loaded, especially at the top. But this Alabama team showed me that maybe their number 20 ranking was too low in the preseason polls, and they're going to play their way slowly up in the rankings throughout the year.
I love how aggressive they were on the boards, especially with their starting 5. The only player on the starting 5 that didn't get double-digit rebounds was one of their guards, Namari Burnett. I mean, that's pretty fantastic that you see that. They did move the rotation around a pretty decent amount. They went pretty deep in this one. I'm sure that you won't see them go as deep as they did right now when they get into tougher competition. I could see them going at least 8 deep, maybe 9 deep when the season starts. But this is still something to be really excited about. You talk about Miller. Scouting report is completely correct on him. I completely agree. The crazy thing is that he was 0 for 6 from the 3-point line. So he was 14 points. He was their leading scorer, or tied for their leading scorer, if you will. But he didn't even get to one of his best assets. He wasn't good from behind the arc. I think when he gets that figured out, it's going to be a completely different game. And hey, figure it out now, because when you get some tougher competition, you start off on Friday against Liberty. That's another tough matchup, and you'll see Michigan State at the end of the month. That's when you really need that to take off.
Yeah, and he wasn't forcing the shot. The shots he did take, they didn't fall. I mean, the form was good. He seemed confident. He wasn't trying to hit a 3 for hitting a 3 sake. So lots of positive things to take out of this Alabama game. And it's something. Sorry, Texas Tech. I loved how you played, but I mean, Alabama, that's how impressive they were.